Welcome to NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson, we're here again for you. March Madness version of NJCAA Hot Hoops, I might add. And we've got the D2 tournament seedings going to be happening this week.
Yeah, shortly,
And
right?
yeah, and so, we're going to be I'm going to be in Joplin, Missouri for a few
Yeah.
days and watching that. And of course, I'm going to be at some D1 regionals as well coming up this week. And but you got 20 of the best Division II teams in the country ascending on Missouri Southern State, who hosted it last year as well.
Yeah.
And I would expect Kenya, probably Kirkwood being the number one seed because they're
I agree.
undefeated. They've been unblemished. They're defending national champion. I'd take that gamble.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, but we'll talk about the D2 pairings and all that and the seedings and all that stuff coming up. But you want to touch on the Division One top 25 for this?
Yeah, so our bracket our excuse me, our poll from last week is locked. That was our final poll of the year. And so just a quick refresher, finish up with Northwest Florida State at 1. Then we went to Three Rivers, New Mexico, Chipola, and Wabash Valley. And that is, I mean, to finish in the top 5 in the country in the polls, I mean, you've done some great things, but
Yeah.
then I can all these people, on the poll, they've been in the top 5, top 10 at some point in the season. So we can look at Shelton State at 6. Then we go to Dodge, South Plains, Hutch, and McLennan came in at number 10. Arizona Western, Florida Southwestern, Gulf Coast State, Pearl River, and then the Valley, Trinity Valley finished up at rounded out 15. And then Eastern Arizona, Odessa, Murray State, Western Nebraska, Coffeyville, finish up at 20. And then our 21 through 25 was Casper, Walter State, Grayson, Cochise, and Butler Community College. And so that's our final bracket of the year. And kudos to those teams for finishing in the top 25.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you coached and you were winning the national title at Trinity Valley and you went to the national tournament, I mean, you were loaded, and there
Mm-hmm.
was some other teams that were really talented. Okay. My feeling is that this year's tournament, more than ever before, there's such a high degree of parity. And there was some back when you were doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Not like now.
you knew you were going to pound somebody, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But some of these teams can come out of the blue and knock somebody else off, you know?
Yeah. I think matchups now come into play more than they ever have.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, so we have so not that we didn't always have good coaches that worked out hard and went out recruiting, but these coaches, they're grinding and they're going out and they're getting players that match their coaching style and their system. And there are more opportunities for tough matchups for people than I have noticed in the past. I mean, we had the luxury of 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", playing 3, 4, and 5. And I mean, we were always typically a bad matchup for people because our 3 guard who's 6'3", she can guard a 3 guard, and so we just kind of had that luxury. And I think more people are getting those big time players. Team that's receiving votes, talk about them all the time. Collin County, they got some freaking players. And they had an upset, this past week. And so when you're looking at all these things and you're seeing what's going on, we knew we were coming in the first game of the tournament and we were going to be up 20 just because we were the Valley, just
Yeah.
because we had that intimidation factor.
Correct.
And I think now these people are coming in, they're saying, why not us? We're just as good as them. Why not us? And there's no easy breezy first round game anymore.
Yeah. I think part of it too is your tumbling team, your gymnastics team. They had something to do with all that. I mean, they were like unbelievable.
Our cheerleaders did. They helped us with that spot 20 for sure.
Yeah,
And the band.
for sure.
I love that.
There were a few upsets from the past week, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to call them upsets, but Arizona Western lost to Southern Nevada. Southern Nevada. The new kid on the block in that region, and Dodge got beat by Hutch too.
Yeah.
As well as Chipola finishing up, and they got beat by Northwest Florida State.
Yeah.
That really affect their region tournament, though.
Yeah, and I think Colin knocked off Odessa.
Or McLennan or one of those schools.
McLennan or one of those schools. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy.
So when you were approaching region play, okay, was there anything you did uniquely different or just status quo going from last regular season game? You're going into your region tournament. Maybe you're traveling on the road. You're not hosting. Anything different that you would probably try to do with your team?
Yeah. First of all, our main goal as a player, I remember this, and as a coach, and as I continue to watch Michael's teams coach in junior college when I was coaching Division I, that regional tournament, you got to figure out how to take the edge off and the pressure off. Because especially if you are a team that is supposed to win the tournament and that is supposed to move on and not have to worry about, at that time we didn't have the luxury of the at-large bids, and so you had to find a way to take the edge off of your players. You had to find a way to just get them to relax while you're still preparing, right? So we did a ton of shooting, just because when you're making shots, you feel good, right? When you're doing, and it's the same drills that we were doing all year, but we wanted the girls to feel good about what they were doing and what they were able to produce. And that's when we also we had a bag of tricks that we had not let out all season. We had wrinkles in our sets. We had different play calls for our sets because you're playing some people for the third time, right. And so, that was just a way that we chose to prepare. We worked on things in practice the whole second round of conference play, but those are things that we held in our bag so that we could be prepared, in case we had some games where it came down to the wire, and just continue to be who we are. We didn't try to change what we were doing as far as like our identity of our team. We came out and we jumped on teams hard, and we might have got a foul the first 3 possessions of the game, but they were going to know they were going to have to play or they were going to have a problem. And so, just those things, we really tried to focus on that. And the excitement of the travel, we wanted that to be cool and stuff. Yeah. So, but main thing was we just wanted to make sure we took that pressure off and just try to get them to relax.
Yeah, well said. Everybody's got their own bag of tricks, but you're what about individual communication, like with each player? Did you step that up? Did you just leave them alone? How'd you approach that?
It just kind of depended on the kid, right? Like, I remember, like a kid like Shakayla Caples, we constantly had individual conversations with her because that was just what she needed. And she was a person of very few words, but she listened, but then, you come and you have a player like we had a player, Kiana Flax. You ain't got to tell her nothing. Like, she is ready. She is ready to go. She is always on 10, ready to ball. And all she needs to know is the scouting report, but, at the same time, you always want to check the pulse, right? You want to check the pulse, make sure they're all good, and you make sure they're in a good space. I was watching an interview after some of the NCAA games, and Coach Yo from Ole Miss one of the things she said, they asked her, said, Coach, your teams are playing great. Your team is playing great right now. Like, what's happening right now? And she goes, I try to keep my team happy. She said, I push them, I coach them hard, but happy players play well. And I thought to myself, man, that's something to be said, because a lot of coaches are like, it's not about being happy, it's about working hard. But when you feel happy, especially as women, when you feel happy, you perform. When you feel happy, when you feel good, you're out there, you're ready to play, you're ready to give it everything you have. And so that's one thing that we really focus on too, is making sure everybody ate good, they got the snacks they like, they're feeling good, so that they'll be ready to go and compete.
Yeah. Hotel, sneakers,
Favorite roommate.
food,
Absolutely.
everything's good,
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of truth to that.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we go to our break, let's talk about the Division II tournament.
Yeah.
And let's just go through region by region. You want to take the first, was it 6?
Yeah. Yeah. So coming out of Region 1, we have Pima, who finished up their season at 26-5. Region 3, we had Sunny, Niagara County, that's 27-3. Region 3, Rock Valley out of Illinois, 25-8. And Lake County out of Illinois, 28-5. And then we had Highland out of Kansas, finished with their record of 28-4.
Well,
yeah.
North Platte, 20-12. They're in Region 9.
Yeah.
I haven't seen North Platte. Brighton Stratton out of Virginia, I've seen them. They're in Region 10. They went 27-4. And of course, the juggernaut, the defending national champ, 31-0 Kirkwood, steamrolling.
Rolled it.
Yeah. Region 12's got 3 teams. There's a lot of Illinois, Michigan teams in Division 2. You got St. Clair at 28-5, Schoolcraft 28-5, Mid-Michigan 29-4. And then North Central Missouri 24-7. They represent Region 16. Go ahead, the last 4.
Yeah. So Union out of New Jersey, 27-2 out of Region 19. Region 20, we had CCBC Essex out of Maryland. Only had 1 loss on their record. Region 22, Chattahoochee Valley out of Alabama, 22-6 on the year. And then out of Region 24, Lincoln Land out of Illinois, and 32-2 on the year.
Oh, they had a good year.
Yeah.
Essex only loss is to Union.
Yep.
So they get 4 at-large berths. Speculation.
Yeah.
Mesa got knocked off by Pima the other day. So I would say Mesa's going to get in because they've been a top 5-6 team all year.
Absolutely.
And then Johnson County, since they got knocked off by Highland. And we're going to have the head coach at Highland on our show as the hot seat guest, Saundra Proctor.
Yeah.
She's living large and flying high right now.
That's right. As she should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
So the 12th through the 15th, we've got the Division III tournament. And there's only 12 teams that play in this Division III. We haven't talked a lot about Division III this year, but there certainly are some good players that populate some of these teams. Rochester Community College out of Minnesota, they're the #1 on the final poll.
Yeah.
But then you've got some others. You've got Hostess, which is in the Bronx. They're 26-1. You got Kingsborough out of New York City area, and I think Brooklyn. They're in the tournament. So you got some teams that have a player here and a player there that are certainly worth investigation if you're a 4-year recruiting those players, because they got some kids that can hoop. So look, when we come back, let's do some rewind. Let's talk about previous week's games, and there certainly have been some definite surprises.
Yeah.
So let's take a message, and we'll come right back with NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back with our rewind segment on Hot Hoops, Kenya. And we got 5 or 6 games that we talked about last week, and they didn't fail us now. They were impressive. And I think we added a couple of teams that whoa, I got to talk about that.
They lived up to the hype.
Yeah. And, as we just mentioned, Highland Community College, Saundra Proctor as our guest on the hot seat. Well, she needed to be on the hot seat and talk us about her team, because they knocked off Johnson County, the number 2 team in the country, by 5 on their home floor. And then they turned around and beat Allen in the final to win that region. So hats off to Highland.
Absolutely.
They snapped Johnson County's 89-game home winning streak. That's an impressive number for Johnson County now. But that even goes to show you even more. I mean, wow, what a significant win for them, And they kind of jumped out on Johnson early. They had like an 11-point, 12-point lead. And but Johnson County, of course, they're going to fight. They're going to come back. And but they went on a tear. Highland did 29 tear to end the third quarter, and that was kind of it, So Cameron McNamara.
Yeah.
Now, this is a player that's committed to North Alabama. 6'1", kind of plays any position on the floor, can knock the three, can slash it. She got a little playground game to her. She is their go-to at Highland. And she certainly carried them. And she had 16 and 7, 4 steals in that win against Johnson County. So, there we go.
Huge win.
It happens.
Huge win. And I'm happy. I'm happy for her that she was able, to follow it up and win the regional championship, because I don't know that she would have gotten a bid. I mean, I'm not saying that she wouldn't have, but hats off to her for not letting that big game and then falling in the trap game, not being ready. So that's just so awesome.
Yeah, because she was ranked 8. So you're right. Like if she would have lost that game in the semi, would they look to someone else that lost in the final?
Yeah.
So I'm happy she won that game. I mean, for her sake,
Yeah.
Talk about another ups. I don't want to call it an upset, because these 2 teams have been top 10 teams.
Yep.
Pima beats Mesa 71-66. And Pima both of these teams are well coached, but Pima's team is, I go to their practices, I've seen them play, I've seen how they break things down. They're well coached. Todd Holthouse is the head coach there, has been there a long time. Got a good staff of people around him. I mean, he's got people on his staff that are they got more basketball knowledge than you can imagine, right?
The A team for sure, right?
It's unbelievable. These kids probably don't even realize, what the information they can suck up every day, and just soak in like that sponge. But Kylie Sowers Miller, she's a redshirt freshman center, 6'4" kid. She's really come on for them this season. Had 19 and 11 in the win, 7-0 run to start the fourth quarter. That was probably the key. But Sowers Miller's had 16 double-doubles this year for Pima. So
that's work.
She's going to work. She's bringing the lunch pail, Let's go to Waco. McLennan, who's hosting Region 5 coming up. They knock off Temple 84-73. Look, we've always said about McLennan, their guard play is key.
Yeah.
And they just don't have one. They got 5. They got some good guards.
Yeah.
And Jalea Ingram had 28 and 5 assists. One of your favorite players, Tajane Gooden, had 20.
That's right.
Maybe McLennan's starting to make that peak, starting to figure it out, because they're going to be a tough out. They're going to play at home.
Mhm.
They got the late game, 7 o'clock, I think, on that night.
That's
in
right.
Region 5 first round play. So it'll be interesting. That's what it's all about. Hutch knocks off Dodge City 76-67 in overtime. This must have been a heck of a game. Less than 10 minutes to play. Hutch is down 12 points. Ring catcher, she's kind of a wing 4.
Mhm.
She scores on a putback with 3.5 seconds to go to force overtime. But the backcourt of Hutch with our friendly girl there, Haley Jackson, the one that we
Yes.
always talk about, and Landon Forbes, they scored 13 overtime points between them. And Dodge only shot 1 for 7 from the floor in that extra period. And that was it, So they both share the Jayhawk Conference regular season title.
Mhm.
And Landon Forbes had 19 and 7 assists. Haley had 24 and 10.
Double.
Yeah. Shorna Preston, she's a go-to forward for Dodge. Had 16 and 16. That's a nice day's work,
Absolutely.
Yeah. That crazy region down there in Arizona now, they don't stop, okay? We got Eastern Arizona knocking off Cochise 60-42. Eastern's got a little point guard named Nye Daggins. We don't talk about Nye Daggins very much. She's like 5'4".
She
But
is so quick.
Yeah,
Like-
she's emerging. Jets. Yeah. 24 points to lead Eastern Arizona. The other girl that we've talked many a time about, Jessie Jo Queen.
Yeah.
She did that double work again. She had 13 and 11 in the loss. But Cochise only shot 22% from the floor. Didn't make any threes, and that's the name of the game now. You got to make some threes, right? Got to fire up. Yeah. So, hey, when we come back, let's talk about our upload section for the week ahead, because it's going to get nuts. We're going to have some fun games to talk about next week when we come back on NJCAA Hot Hoops. We're back with NJCAA Hot Hoops. Let's talk some upload, Kenya.
Yeah.
Look, we don't have any specific games to talk about because we're all into the tournament.
That's right.
But we've got some interesting games that are going to go on tap. Now, we can't cover every region. We don't have
Right.
time. But Region 5, we've talked about quite a bit. I think this is one of the 2 toughest regions in the country. You've got New Mexico playing Weatherford to start. Then you've got Odessa playing Grayson. That's a tough game.
Yep.
That could go either way. And I have to give my money on New Mexico if they're, to begin with. They're top 3 or 4 in the country, aren't they? So
Yep.
they're right up there. Then you got South Plains and Collin. I don't want to play Collin.
No. No.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play South Plains either.
Yeah. And then Clarendon and McLennan to finish off the night.
Yeah.
Clarendon's got a couple of kids that can play. But so does McLennan. And that's going to be a good day of basketball, 4 good games. So that's one of the regions. Let's talk about the other region. That's the Florida region. Now, I'm going to be at that tomorrow. in Niceville at Northwest Florida State. It's nice that they host it. They do a great job there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place to play. We've got Miami-Dade playing Chipola to start the day. So we've had both of those coaches on this year on the hot seat.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, it could be a good one. I mean, you know, Miami-Dade, Susan Summon's team has started to really put up some numbers. Her kids that have bought in. She's got an inside-outside presence. But Chipola ain't no joke. Now they're sitting high up there in the poll. They were once a number one. You know, that's gonna be a tough game maybe for Miami-Dade. But neutral floor, we'll see, you know. You got Hillsborough from Tampa, and they've got one of the nation's scoring leaders, Maciel Reyes, little 5'6" guard that can really shoot it.
Yeah.
They're in it. We've got Eastern Florida State's in it. We've got Florida Southwestern, which is a real dark horse, I think, out of this whole thing because they've had success, and we've had their coach on here before on the hot seat. And then, of course, we got Pensacola. They're another dark horse.
Yeah.
We talked about that all the time. You know, we've got Gulf Coast. We've got Chipola, obviously, and we got Northwest Florida State. So that is a jam-packed, loaded 4 games starting tomorrow there in Niceville, Florida. So, but look, you know, we're not even talking about Arizona. We're not even talking about the Jayhawk.
Yeah, Region 14, Trinity Valley opens up against Coastal Bend. Then you got a 4-5 matchup with Kilgore and Panola. Then you got Tyler and Paris, Blaine, Angelina. Like,
hold on a minute, Kilgore, Panola. I'm like, that's a toss-up game.
That's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, there's luckily, I mean, some of these teams that are coming out. No disrespect to them, but some of them have an easier road.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But these teams that we just talked about, these regions, you're going to be battle tested big time.
Yep.
You know, so that's going to be a fun, exciting day, and they're going to be really grateful to get to Casper.
Yes.
Know? So
it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Look, let's talk about our hot seat guests coming up. Okay?
Yeah.
And we'll have Saundra Proctor on from Highland Community College, who did some damage over the past week, made her mark. They've been a nationally ranked team. But let's talk with Saundra when we come back on NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back with our Hot Hoops segment here on NJCAA Hot Hoops. We've got Saundra Proctor, the head coach at Highland Community College here in Kansas. Man, Saundra, welcome to the show. And you're doing some damage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
And let's set the table here, Kenya. She's 28-4. She's in Highland Community College. Kenya, I don't know if you've ever been to Highland Community College before, but I certainly have.
Absolutely.
And look, if there's one thing to do out there, it's just a hoop. Okay.
Just play ball. Just go shoot.
Right.
That's it. That is all.
She knocked off the number 2 team in the country last week on their home floor. And she's going to the D2 national tournament here next week in Joplin, Missouri. Congratulations. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Kenya, go ahead, take it from here. I mean, we've got a girl that's a JUCO through and through product here, you know, so we've got another one. We seem to run into these people all the time.
Hey, that's what we like. That's what we like to go look for. That's what we like to find.
Exactly.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Okay, Coach Proctor, tell me, how, I mean, I know we have the 24-hour rule. I know you get a big win, you got 24 hours, you got a bad loss, you got 24 hours. Like, I get it. But to have that kind of win, to do what you guys are doing at this time of the year, you got to be riding the high now. Come on, you got to be.
It's unreal. Like I said, I'm a JUCO product. I've never been to this part. Like I never won a conference championship. I never got to go to nationals. So for this to be my first time, and for it to be my first time for my players, like this is just an unreal experience for me and for them.
Yeah, I love that. So talk about the game. Tell us, how. I mean, I'm sure it's basketball's a game of runs, but just talk us through the game a little bit and just tell us, how are you guys able to knock them off and have that big win?
I think with the Johnson game, I think when we played them here and we lost by 3, I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes because, it's the number 2 team in the nation. They haven't lost since, national championship last year. So everybody kind of had this expectation. And I'm like, we just got to hoop. Like, nobody expects us to win this game but us.
Got
like,
nothing to lose.
Wearing our colors. They're not looking
Right.
at us. Being at a point where we were in that game and then dropping it, I was like, the best thing is we're going to see them again. We just have to prepare for it. So when we got 4th place, I was like, okay, we'll have KCK, and then boom, we got to go right back to Johnson, which was the same thing we had last year. We took everything off the table. It doesn't matter that they're number 2. It doesn't matter where their kids are going. None of that matters. All that matters is defensively, we're going to do this. Offensively, we're going to do this. Once we get the lead, we're never giving it up. And that was our biggest thing, was we were leading Johnson for 37 minutes here. Once they took the lead, we never got it back. I was like, once we get it, it's over. Like, we're not letting them get it back.
Yeah.
And my kids bought in to everything we asked, everything we said to them. They were probably more locked in that day than I'd probably seen them all year. But I mean, it came up big. For the Allen game, it was another, this is a team we lost to twice.
Right.
Both teams, it was 11 points total. Again, we had a chance to win both, and we just couldn't lock in and take care of business at the end. So it was, listen, it doesn't matter that they just knocked us out the top 10. It doesn't matter who they have, who we don't have. We just got to go hoop. And I'm like, this is what everybody wants to do. You guys want to be Division I, Division II athletes. You got to be able to play. You got to be able to battle these. And the rest is history.
Hey, what I love and what I feel like I hear you saying is y'all learn through the losses.
Yes.
Like, you learn from those 2 losses that you guys had. And there is nothing more significant than coaches and athletes that can learn through that, right? I mean, because we are all gonna not be at our best at one point, but to learn from that and not feel sorry for ourselves and come back and still have the confidence that you can get those wins. Like, man, hats off to you. Hats off to y'all. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because after that big win, right, it's like the next game is the trap game because you're so hyped from that game. So, so y'all came back and locked in.
It was throwing water. It was, let's go eat. Let's go. Hey, but we got to go watch Allen.
Right.
So, come on.
Right.
We got to let's celebrate for about an
hour.
hour. We got 2 hours to the next game. Like, okay, now we got to go back. So
I love it.
So how much of this rub off of your team can be attributed to where you came from through your 2 years in your junior college career, and then you playing at D2 Shaw? Man, you guys had teams now back in the day at Shaw.
Yes, for sure.
And Doc Curtis may have instilled some toughness into you that could have probably helped you with your team. Shed something about that if that be the case.
That was a huge thing. Being a JUCO product, you get to talk to them on a different level. Like, I understand what it's like to have to battle, and I understand that you have to be a different level of kid to be able to make it out of here. So being able to speak to them on that, but I tell them stories all the time about what my D2 experience was like, what my JUCO experiences were like. Jacques Curtis is my man. I love him to death, but it's a little different. It was a little different back then. It did not play at all. And I'm like, you guys can go to the gym and just look up. Like, those all belong to us. So when you look at where women's basketball is now, that wasn't really the thing in 2010, but at Shaw University, it was. Like, we ran the campus. It was us. It was football. It was tennis. So being able to be in a program where everybody loves you and everybody wants to know what women's basketball is doing next, and we're not worried about anybody else, we just focus on y'all. I try to instill that into them. Like, if we're not getting that support from anybody else, y'all gonna get it from me. You may not like how you get it from me, and I'm gonna give it to you very much of, you know, I graduated in 2005. So you're going to get a lot of 2005 to 2010, but the goal is to get you guys out of here. So I can't coddle you. I can't baby you. So everything I do is to prepare you for what 4-year life is going to be like.
Yeah. I say that all the time, you know, like my JUCO experience prepared me like for life. Like if I get through 2 years of Kurt Bucky in the Valley, listen, I'm good. Like I can handle anything. But the thing that, like you said, they don't understand, like you go into the wolves, like nobody is going to care for you, going to really be concerned for who you are as a person. If you're okay, like once you leave JUCO, it's business. Now I'm gonna need you to go get those grades. I'm gonna need you to make those shots. I hope your mama feel better, you know, but it's just not the same compassion. And that is what it is. I'm not speaking a blanket statement of all Division I's and Division II's, but it's just different. And so the way that you are preparing them for the next level, like they may not see it now, but they're gonna get that.
They'll see it in a couple years.
Like, Coach, I see what you were talking about.
I get it. My big kid, Cameron McNamara, I've just kind of been on her all year, and when we won the championship, she was like, "Coach, I get it now. Like, all the running, all the punishments, all the everything we did, I get it now. Like I understand." And I was like, "Thank you, thank you." I wasn't doing it just because it was to get us to this point. And I mean, I played in Region 9, which, you know, is a different level when you're up in Colorado and you're playing Casper and Western Nebraska and all of those teams that have been good forever. So I'm like, you know, there was not too much of a difference when I was in JUCO. So the playing hard, the not calling fouls in practice, the not allowing them to just kind of wallow in their sorrows in practice. Like, I got to get y'all ready because we can't do this in a championship game.
Right.
Tell us about your star player.
Man, Cameron McNamara. So I was a big UConn fan growing up, like UConn, Tennessee. Like if you played basketball in our era, like that's what it was. And Gino did an interview and somebody asked him, you know, why are you so good? Why are you so successful? Why have you guys been able to win 90 games in a row or whatever the number was? And he said, it's easy. I have Diana and they don't. And I was like, I have Cameron and they don't. So I have this unicorn of a player that gets great grades. That's going to be the hardest worker. That's going to be the first one in the gym, the last one out. That you can say, Cam, nothing comes in this paint. Cam, knock down that three. Cam, you got to guard the best guard. Cam, you got to guard the best big. Okay. And that's it. And I think it's rare now where you get a kid that you can just throw something at them and they just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most coachable kid I've had in a really long time. Some of the stuff she just doesn't understand, even to like official visits. Like we had her going on visits and her mind was blown of like, they fly me out. They're gonna put me in a hotel. They're like, what is this? But
that humbleness.
Very much. But she's a kid that I feel like can add value to any program. And she committed to North Alabama. I think she's gonna have a really, really good career there. And I'm excited to see what she does next. But I mean, to go from 14 points a game last year to almost 23 points a game this year, 1,000-point scorer, tournament MVP, like any accolade that you can want, she's basically got it. So like I said, great kid. She does the dirty stuff. She's very blue collar. So whatever you need her to do, she's gonna get it done. And if it takes her diving on the floor or setting that really hard screen or whatever it takes to get the win, she's doing it.
I love it. So what about your support staff, what's surrounding her? I mean, because, we got a good one, but I know you got some other dogs around her too that are getting it done.
So I have Jalasia Hole is my like 2-guard. I actually coached her in high school. So I've known her since 15, I think. Me and her, this is us all day. It's constant button heads. It's constant just everything. And I think now she's getting back to that point of like, okay, this is what coach was saying. super athletic. She's only 5'7", but she jumps out the gym. Like, her athleticism is crazy. Probably our best defender, hands down. So when I need a guard shut down, there you go. And we call her Lucky. Like, Lucky, that's your job. You got
Yeah.
it.
I love it.
My point guard, Madison Brittle, is very unorthodox. Like, she's never played point before. We had an injury to our point guard from last year, so we had to put her in that role. I think she's marveled at it for someone who's never had the ball in their hands that much and never had to put everybody where they need to be. I think she's done a really, really good job. Has some knee issues, and I think that's the one thing that's kind of hurting her to being able to just be this great point guard that she can be. But you know, we've done a little load management this year, so we've been able to get her to this point. And she's another one that's just, you know, I think I probably yell at her more than I yell at anybody else on this team. But I'm like, listen to what I'm saying. Don't listen to the delivery. I yell, I scream, but like, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't make that pass. Don't make that read. Make this. This is what a 4-year coach is going to want you to be able to do. And I think she's, again, being someone who has never had the ball in her hands this much, I think she's done a great job.
Awesome. So you guys are getting ready to head to the national tournament.
Yes.
New territory, you know, new situation. How do you not let what you guys just did be your Super Bowl? How do you continue to build, you know, and let them know, like, okay, that's good, but we're not satisfied with that. We're here. We're not happy to be here. We're here to make some noise. How do you get them to switch their mind to prepare for that?
So we haven't talked about the championship since Saturday, and I get it's Tuesday, so it's short, but it was, you know, this is cool, great. Yeah, we celebrate. We got the shirts. Okay, now it's back to business. So we've already, you know, gotten back in the weight room how we normally do. We're shooting how we normally do. So we try to get everything back to, this is what we were doing leading up to this championship. So we're going to get right back to that. So we're going to shoot in the mornings. We're going to practice in the afternoons. We're going to lift weights in the afternoons. So we're going to do everything we did that got us to this point. We're just going to ramp it up just a little bit because it's going to have to be at a different level. So just getting them to understand, you know, we're going somewhere that no Highland team has been to since 2018. So you guys are already putting yourselves into a territory that not a lot of teams ever get to see if you're not Johnson County. So
right.
You know, just in that and just making sure they understand this business is normal. So, you know, we had fun. It was great. You know, we could talk about the rings. We can do that later. Let's go win this natty.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you're in a good spot. And we're anxious to see where you are seated, obviously, for the national tournament, which is an important piece to it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got like 30 minutes and I'm sitting on my hands talking to my AD, like, where do you think we're going to be?
Yeah. What are you thinking? What do you think you're going to come in at?
So from what I was told, they think we'll be anywhere between 6 and 9, which I think will be, you know, pretty good. I think 6, 8, and 9 will play Monday night. 7 will play Tuesday night. So either way, I mean, I think we're going to national, so it's a good situation for us regardless.
Exactly.
There's a lot of teams that didn't make it to this point.
That's right. That's right.
I would like to play Tuesday, so I would like to get a 7 seed, but I mean, if we come in higher and we have to play Monday, just got to play Monday.
Hey, you'll just be warmed up, ready to go for Tuesday.
That's it.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you. I'm so over the moon excited for you and what you guys have accomplished so far. Proud of you for representing your college well, representing us JUCO people well,
right.
And just doing it right and really just showing your young ladies what the possibilities are if they work hard. So good luck to you. Kudos to you. Congratulations thus far.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Make some noise.
I hope so. That's the plan.
Thanks, Saundra, for being on Hot Hoops today.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Good luck.
You too. Thank you.
we're back with our mailbag segment for the day.
We got good stuff.
Segment. We don't really have any mailbag questions, but I just wanted to kind of congratulate, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I love it.
Some of the outstanding efforts in scoring average and that type of thing, rebounding, etc., of players throughout the country in junior college. Kaya Davis at Connors State winds up leading the nation in scoring 23 points a game. And she shot over 37% from the three-point line, which is a pretty high number, really. I guess
That's a very high number.
Now, we'll talk about somebody else in a minute that's even higher, but Kaya leads the country in scoring Division I JUCO. Congrats, Kaya. Vivian Onagwa. She's been the leader in rebounding throughout.
Yeah.
16.4. This is a tough matchup for an opponent because she's quick. She's got good counter stuff inside.
Yeah.
And she just eats that glass.
Yeah.
God, you love kids like that.
Yes.
So I would say that she's probably got her fair share of schools hunting her at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Relentless on the glass. Just such a hard worker. Yeah.
So Amia Sutton of New Mexico takes home the honors of the three-point champion for the year. She made 51% of her threes.
That's like Diana Packer numbers. Do you remember Diana Packer from Brazil that went to South Florida?
Yeah. She could shoot it. Well, so does Sutton. And I think that's been a real Achilles heel for New Mexico over the years, is they haven't had that killer from the three. And he's got one now. So I'll see how she does as she moves forward, but congrats to Amia, okay? Let's talk about the D2 side. Lizzie Lydell. Now, I haven't seen Lizzie, but 5'9" guard. She's averaging 25.2 at Oakland in Michigan. Their season is over, I believe, but she led the D2 circuit in JUCO, 25.2. Congrats to her. And last but not least, as I said before, the D3 side, Karina Azamar. She's a transfer from Manhattan College in Riverdale, New York. She's at Nassau Community College. This is a New York kid. She's averaging 31.2 a game.
Walking bucket.
Yeah, I mean, she got a scorer's mentality. You gotta love those kind of kids, you know?
Yep.
And she's killing it at Nassau. So there's three good scoring guards, you know, and congrats to all of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this next week's going to be key, you know, in success, failure, all that stuff. A lot of emotion involved, you know, but that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Go ahead, finish it off from here, Kenya.
I'm just excited. This is it, right? This is the week that decides the fate of the seasons for a lot of teams. It's a time of the year where, you know, you advance or you know, your season's over. And it's just a very, very interesting time. To me, it's a good time of year because there's so many life lessons that are learned through the losses and through the wins. So I am just looking forward to figuring out who's going to be playing at their best level and also who's got a little luck, because it takes good ball play and it takes some good luck too sometimes. So good luck to all the teams across the country. Looking forward to the teams that are going to advance to the national tournament. And we look forward to being at the Division I tournament in Casper, Wyoming. It's going to be a great time. So good luck, lace them up and ball out.